My next idea is very easy to do as well. And let me just move this over here so I don't spill my water. So this is 2 pounds of butternut squash. Now, I have cooked with butternut squash before. If you've watched East Texas Kitchen, you've seen me do that. This is so handy because you can buy bags of butternut squash, the flesh of it like this, already diced up for you. It is so much easier than, you know, taking a whole one and cutting it open, and you can totally do that. And I've done that before many times. I've roasted them, I've done all kinds of things, but for the quick, easy ideas that I like to give you here, this is the way to go. So they sell these at all the grocery stores, usually in a pound bag. So this is 2 bags, 2 pounds of it, and that's going to go in here. I'm going to put the finished product right there so you can see that in just a minute. So we're going to put this in here. There we go. It's not, you know, it's kind of nice because butternut squash is not liquidy, you know, this doesn't drip or anything, and so it's really easy to work with and to do. And I've got here a nice pan ready to go. Let me clear some space for it. I feel like Rachel Ray right now. We get too many things going at once, and then we're like, oh, where can I put my stuff? So this, I've sprayed this with a little cooking spray, and then I put some parchment on top of that. The cooking spray helps hold down your parchment so it doesn't just roll up, and that makes it nice and easy. And so I'm going to have some more butter. Let me turn on my back burner for the butter, and I'll let it melt for just a moment before I use it. It's already quite soft, so it'll just take a moment. I love this little butter melting pan. You can also just do it in the microwave, but I don't want to hear the microwave right now, so we'll just do it right there on the stove top, very simply. And so we are going to, let me get a spatula so I can stir, or a spoon. I love to stir with a big old wooden spoon like this. And just break up those cubes like that. So this recipe is particularly simple. We don't need a lot of ingredients, and I like recipes like that sometimes, don't you guys? It's less expensive when you don't have a ton of ingredients, and it's fast. It goes fast. So happy all around. So I'm going to get out a little cutting board, and I'm going to take out some rosemary. Now, if you're lucky and you have some fresh rosemary, mine has not survived at home from last year, so I didn't get a new one this year, so I don't have any fresh rosemary. So if I had fresh rosemary, I would take a few sprigs of it, and I would come up with about 3 tablespoons of fresh rosemary, or maybe just 2. Let's just say 2. I don't want an overpowering flavor, so we'll do 2 tablespoons of the fresh rosemary. Now, I don't have fresh, so I'm going to use dry. So remember, I always tell you it's about a 1/3 conversion. If you would use a whole tablespoon of something, when you have a dried spice, use only 1/3 of that much. So just 1 teaspoon of dry. Okay, 1 teaspoon of dry, and that gives you about the same flavor level as a tablespoon of fresh. So there we go, and it's kind of fun to watch the little pieces jump around. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more because that's just about 1 teaspoon. Let me add another. Rosemary is such a nice, mild flavor. I love the scent of it and the flavor of it. And I like to chop it up small. I don't like big pieces of it in my mouth, but I like these small pieces like this. It's really easy to just crunch it right up. So there we go. I'm going to just slide that right in there on top of that beautiful butternut squash. And my butter's almost ready, so I'm going to let it finish. Okay. Now I'm next going to add maple syrup to give it a little sweetness. So we'll do 3 tablespoons. I guess I should measure. I like to eyeball things. Y'all know I'm bad about that. But I will measure for you guys so you can see how it kind of looks. There's 1, 2, and 3. Maple syrup is so good, and it's, you know, it used to be so expensive to get it, but now that our store chains have their own brands, like, you know, this one is a store brand, and so it's just a few dollars. It's not $14 like, you know, some of that really good Vermont that you can buy. I mean, that's good syrup, don't get me wrong, but I'm not about to spend $14 on some maple syrup. Let's see, maybe if it was your wedding reception and I was cooking for you, I might do it for you then, you guys. But just for this little side dish, nah, let's don't. So we're going to toss that together. So we've got a little sweetness, we've got a little herbiness. Isn't that lovely? I just love it. I don't know. I like seeing these natural ingredients come together. So far, all we've got is some fresh squash and some herbs and some maple syrup. And that is just so nice and so easy to do. I'm going to add a little salt. I'll just say about half a teaspoon there of salt. I'll toss that in. There we go. How beautiful. I love the color of butternut squash. It's almost as pretty as sweet potatoes. Okay. When you see that orange color, you know you're getting a lot of vitamin A. It's such a good thing for you. Now, let's put this out on this nice sheet pan. I mean, when I said this was easy, y'all, I meant it. This is easy. I'm going to spread it into a single layer. Make sure you can have a big enough sheet pan that it's not piled up. You don't want it to be piled up because it'd be hard to get it all done at the same time. So you want to spread it out as if it was a big orange pizza dough. That's what it reminds me of. Okay, then we're going to take about 2/3 of a cup of chopped pecans, and we're just going to sprinkle those over it. If you'd rather, you can add these at the end if you don't want to cook them. Either way, it's fine. Now, this will go into a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. After it bakes for 20 minutes, then carefully pull it out. Use a spatula or something to turn over the ingredients just so the other side can kind of cook as well. And then bake it another 15 or 20 minutes. When it starts to look nice and golden, and if you sample a piece and it's tender, then it's ready. Very simple to do. It's easy to stick that in the oven while you're doing other things, whether it be wrapping a gift or preparing a smoked turkey or something, whatever it is. It's perfect to do that while that's baking.